MulToyVerse, Hankster here, and welcome to the Transformers Dark of the Moon movie review. The movie stars Peter Cullen, Leonard Nimoy, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, Josh Duhamel, John Malkovich, Tom Kenny, and Shia LaBeouf, among others. The movie takes place a couple years or so after, of course, Revenge of the Fallen. Sam, of course, has graduated from college. Oddly enough, that even though 2 years have only been passed between the movies, he's able to graduate college. But, of course, is hunting for a job through the help of his new girlfriend, played by Rosie Huntington. She, of course, plays Carly. Of course, this character Carly is, of course, based on the original character Carly from Generation 1, which, of course, Spike dates and marries, and they have Daniel and all that junk. Michaela, who of course was played by Megan Fox, is not mentioned by name, but of course we do find out why Sam's no longer with her. So they kind of slightly mention why the character is no longer in the movie. Well, I mean, obviously we know, why the actress is no longer in the movie, but that's just because, Shia LaBeouf and Steven Spielberg are schmucks. But that's from a rant. Of course, meanwhile, the Autobots are still working with their human military allies, tracking down not just Decepticons, but also human terrorists. Until, of course, they come across a mysterious device, an Autobot artifact in Chernobyl, of all places, and Optimus Prime wants answers. He gets them, of course, from a sort of an uppity female security secretary, who reveals to him that back in the days of the space race, the Americans and Soviets were not just trying to be the first on the moon, but try to be the first to arrive at a mysterious crash site of a UFO. Of course, we find out that it is a Autobot shuttle carrying a mysterious device that was hoped to to win the war against the Decepticons, and of course a former leader of the Autobots, none other than Sentinel Prime, played by Leonard Nimoy. Of course, Prime and Ratchet arrive to the moon to retrieve both Sentinel and this device. But as the old Transformer saying goes, it's more than meets the eye, as we find out that the Decepticons have an interest in this device as well. And of course, using this device is basically a key moment in this movie. Of course, not only is the situation with the Autobots more than meets the eye, but also involving another character in this movie. If you recognize him, he, of course, plays the lead character in the hit series Grey's Anatomy. He, of course, plays Carly's boss, who kind of is a know-it-all jerk, but of course he turns out to be more of a jerk than we expected. As he wants to say, it's more than meets the eye here. Now, not going to totally give out what's going on in this movie. You just have to go see it. But obviously, because Leonard Nimoy's in this movie, there are a few Star Trek references, including a classic Star Trek quote. Keep an ear out for that. It's not a Transformer quote. It is a Star Trek quote, and it is uttered by Leonard Nimoy himself as Sentinel Prime. Also in this movie, they are pulling in a lot of stuff from Generation 1. Basically, most of the plot of this movie mirrors a multi-part episode from Generation 1. So keep it, if you're a Transformer fan, if you're into G1, you might recognize that this portion of this movie does reflect that multi-part episode. And also, there is a particular scene in this movie, keep an eye out for, which also mirrors another particular scene. It's sort of a remake of a classic scene from Transformers, so keep an eye out for that. But I'm not going to tell you who's involved here or what's going on here. You just have to keep an eye out for that. Of course, John Turturro also returns as that crazy former FBI agent who kind of has his eye on the behind the scenes of what's going on, who knows the truth or what, kind of like what went on in X-Files. But, of course, it seems like Sam has something over him, information-wise, that he's interested in as well. I did read that he was going to have a small part. It's bigger than you expect, and it is. But he does serve as one of the comic reliefs of this movie, along with Tom Kenny, who, of course, returns as the voice of Wheelie, who has brought along a new friend. His new friend is named Brain. Both kind of refugee Autobots / Decepticons. I don't know which they're kind of sided with the Autobots, but they kind of hang out with Sam and drive him nuts. There are also some otherwise interesting characters. Of course, the mentioning of the fan-created concept of the Wreckers is also brought into this movie. More properly known through BotCons and stuff. The Wreckers are mentioned in this movie, and they're pretty hefty dudes. Keep an eye out for them. And of course, there of course are some new G1 character, redone G1 characters in this movie. Of course, Shockwave is in this movie. He, of course, kind of commands this giant worm device that drills all over the place. And, of course, the most seen of all of the Decepticons in this movie is none other than Laserbeak, who has moved from just being a gatherer of information. He's an assassin, but he's not going after Autobots, oddly enough. He's got different targets in mind, so keep an eye out for that. Of course, Soundwave's also back, but he is not a satellite this time around. He's more of an Earth vehicle, so he's back in this movie as well. All in all, outside of Sam being a douche, it was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed watching the special effects. Of course, I did see the 3D version. It wasn't like totally 100% in your face 3D the whole movie. It was just through most of the obviously used segments of the movie that the 3D was used, but it was good 3D, and obviously, you'd like to use 3D in those particular scenes. And I have to say, Miss Huntington did play a pretty good role. She wasn't, Megan Fox has her thing, and Rosie has her thing, so, you just have to go with that. Even I do say that Rosie's boobs are smaller than Megan's, but, I don't know, this is just what happens when political correctness gets into casting. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just listen to my little rant that I did earlier this week. But everything, is pretty much a good movie. Doesn't really leave anything open for a fourth movie connected to this series. This particular series. We'll just have to see what happens in the future for Transformer movies. Peter Cullen, of course, once again played an excellent role as Prime. Of course, Megatron and Starscream are still around. But most of the other characters from the original two movies are in there as well, so keep an eye out for them. But it is definitely a good movie to go see, 3D or not. Let's go out and check that out, make this the #1 movie of the weekend. Well, obviously, because, it's started now, and, it's going to have, between now and Monday, you're going to probably even longer, because they have to drag on to the Tuesday. We're probably, more of the results, with the 4th of July holiday. But let's make this the #1 movie of the weekend, and stay tuned here for more reviews of both movies, action figures, and whatnot here on the MulToyVerse.